Welcome back, Gadgeteers. We have a mystery unboxing today. So this particular box, as promised, is unknown. I know what it is, but I want to show you guys. And you let me know if it's worth getting. Whoops, looks like we got tape on here. Give me a second. All right, let's see what's inside. Ready? Can you guess, before I actually pull it out, what it might be? Date of art foam packaging. Well, has a USB cable and it's white. Has an Apple charger and it's white. And last but not least, more foam packaging. Really light. I don't know why. I think it's so light. Woohoo! Found out my microphone was way down there. So let me go through this again. So there's a few dings here and there. Nothing that stands out. The cover looks really nice. There's one scratch there. I don't know if you all can see that. And you probably know which MacBook this is, especially when you look at the ports on the end. Look at all those ports. Which MacBook is this? It does look pretty good, all things considered. Actually quite impressed. Scratches on the back. All right, we're gonna open it up. Hopefully there are no big scratches in here. And open. Oh my, it is dirty and sticky. And apparently it's gonna go ahead and log us in as a user. All right. First thing I'm going to do is get all the dust off because I do want to see if the screen is okay. I do not see anything on the screen that would concern me. It's just a bunch of dirt. I'm a little bit surprised that it's logging in as somebody. Let's see if it has an account set up here. No. Interesting. What kind of software are we looking at? Really nothing out of the ordinary. So I am not gonna assume this is safe, and I'm going to go ahead and reload it. I think I'll go ahead and erase it and load it back up. This is, of course, a MacBook. They were sold from, looks like we might have a ding there, 2015 to 2017. It has the illustrious butterfly keyboard that so many decry. This is the newer one. So this model is a 2017. So this is the newer butterfly and it feels just fine. I had one of these with the 2015 version of the keyboard, and the keyboard was harder to type on. It just wasn't as responsive. You had to push a little harder, but honestly, it didn't bother me a bit. I really liked it. The problem was, of course, with the butterfly keyboards, and not just the MacBooks had them, but also MacBook Pros. Essentially, if a speck of dust got caught underneath these, that key would stop working. And I can see all kinds of filth and dirt. Let's see if I can show you in these keys. I'm going to blow these out. 1 second. better. So let's check out the stats before we go about clearing it out. About this Mac. So this one has Monterey on it. It can be upgraded, I believe, to Ventura. So I probably will do an upgrade on it. And we have a MacBook Retina 12-inch 2017, dual Intel Core M3. It's almost like, oh boy, it's an M3. No, this is an Intel M3. So not that exciting. 8 gigabytes of RAM. And let's take a look at how my storage is. So we have, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, okay, that's what it is. It's supposed to be. 223.39 gigabytes free of 250.69 gigabytes. So this is essentially a 256 gigabyte SSD. And now I do want to go. And the next thing I want to check in the system report, man, this text is tiny. I definitely need to fix that. All right, the thing I wanted to see here was the condition of the battery and how many cycles it's been through. I don't know if you can see that. I will zoom in if not, but the cycle count is 418, which for one of these systems actually is really, really good. We've been running on the battery and we have 76% left. So why did I buy a MacBook? That's from 2017, so 7 years old. Well, for one thing, I really like how small and the weight of this system. I really find that it's something I could throw in my bag and it would literally be the smallest laptop ever. So that I like. The other thing I like is that you can get a usable MacBook. Literally, you can get into the ecosystem for $200 or less. And I took a little bit of a risk because I didn't think this system would be in very good shape because the price was so low, but I'm really happy with it. Could use a cleaning, and it'll get one. But 2 pounds in weight. It's really good. 8 gigabytes. 1.2 gigahertz processor, Intel Core M3. That's the best you can get on these MacBook Airs. Well, actually, you could get... no, this is the best you could get on these MacBooks. Not the MacBook Airs. Sorry, MacBook. I don't think it'll be playing any games. You know, it's a basic system for basic usage. Let's go to YouTube. Sorry, I'm typing at an angle here, so I may be a little extra slow. Oh yes, I probably should connect to the internet. Okay, well, it should be online now. Looks like it's trying to load. There haven't been any updates on this thing, so it's Monterey. It might have had updates to Monterey, but beyond that, there is nothing. Let's see if we can do... Gotta reverse the mouse. That's a big pain. All right, let's see how it plays. This is only 1080p. I have to watch ads because I'm not logged in as me. Well, let's skip that ad. Welcome back, Gadgeteers. We have another unboxing. We have a MacBook Air. This is an M3, 13.6 inch, 16 gigabyte memory, 512 gigabytes of storage. Not bad. So it is the M3 model. Okay, we'll turn it down a little bit. Let's find something that is 4K video, Ultra HD, 60 hertz or 120 hertz displays. It has only a 30 hertz display. Now, I really can't see that difference, so some of you may be able to see it, but I really don't. I guess if I was using this enough, I would begin to see it, especially now that I have a 120 hertz so-called ProMotion on my MacBook Pro. So I looked at the charger, and the charger is a 3.0 amp output. That's a really big chunk of charger there. This tiny little MacBook, I'm thinking this did not go with this MacBook. I could be wrong. I had one of these years back. I ended up selling it, the 2015 model. So I really don't know what size the charger is supposed to be. If you know, could you drop me a line? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. So it's playing 4K without a problem. What will I do with this system? Well, I'm thinking it'll be the system I throw in my bag when I want to do non-editing tasks. Either this one or another system that I have, the new MacBook Air. And we'll talk more about that later on. I'm going to do a follow-up video on the MacBook Air about performance and what it can and can't not do and what it is and is not for. All right, because this is a Mac with Intel processors built in and it does not have the T2 chip, we get to do things the hard way, or should I say the harder way. So we have to shut down the system, and we will say shut down. And in order to erase the drive, I have to go into the Macintosh hard drive in disk utilities. So I'm going to press the power button and then Command R should get us into the HD utility, I hope. The user's name, apparently the only user, is user1, and there's no password. Yep, macOS recovery. All right, we're going to go to the disk utility. And we want to erase this. Then we select macOS base system, so the drive that we're going to delete. And it says click the erase button in the toolbar. All right, I clicked the wrong thing. I clicked the base system instead of the entire drive. So I've selected that volume, and erase is indeed on the toolbar here. So I will click that. And we'll go ahead and erase that volume group. And at the same time, it's going to recreate the volume so that I can reinstall Monterey on it. Let's quit disk utility, and we're going to go right to reinstall macOS Monterey. And this, I'm thinking, will take quite some time because this isn't an Apple Silicon system. So unfortunately, it has to go through just like any other Mac and reinstall the OS, except it's going to be a little bit slower. So I'm going to let it do its thing, and once it gets done, I will come back. I'm just waiting to be able to click continue in the first place. Oh, there it is. I guess I have to agree. What other choice do I have? I really am going to agree, and I think this regards the reinstallation of macOS. Select a disk you want to install. Well, there is only one. I suppose there could be an external. Apple recommends that you plug in and connect your power adapter before installing. Okay, I'm not going to do that, but I am going to plug it in while it's doing the installation. I don't know if you can see this. It says about 2 hours and 19 minutes remaining. So just to be safe, I will plug in the adapter. and we will be back when it's closer to done or done. All right, Mac OS Monterey is installed. As I said before, I'm probably going to put in Ventura. I'm sure it'll let me know that I can do it, and I'll just do it through the operating system when it suggests it. But let's go ahead and get this set up. One thing I am not going to do is do a transfer from one of my other Macs because there just isn't enough storage on here for that. Also, this really isn't what I'm going to use to edit videos or any of the apps I have that are much more heavy hitting. I'm just going to have the basics on here. I'll have some processor, LibreOffice, and some other apps. The basics. I really won't be doing editing on here. All right, let's get back on the network again. All right, data and privacy. I don't want to do the migration assistant. That we just talked about that. And now I got to put in my Apple ID. 1 second. All right, I usually don't turn on location services, so I'm just going to click continue. And it'll say, are you sure? And I'll say, don't use. Wants to know my time zone. So things are a little bit different setting up Monterey. No Detroit, huh? How about New York? No New York. What the heck? Closest city, and it's only listing. So yeah, it's only showing me cities in California except for Tijuana, Mexico. So I guess we're going to go up here and say automatically select my time zone, which means I have to turn on location services. Look, it figured it out. Detroit, Michigan. Woohoo! All right, we'll go continue. I don't want to share my analytics. I know they say it's anonymous, but I simply don't trust them. Siri. Siri helps you get things done by asking. Siri can also make suggestions. I don't think so. I got a phone for that. So I did want to mention that the installation of Monterey took just under an hour. So it took 50 minutes, 50 minutes. So that wasn't too bad. I'm happy with that. Okay, it wasn't the greatest. That is for sure. And I don't like auto anymore. I prefer light because the contrast of the dark look appearance really, it makes it difficult for me to see. It's so high contrast. My eyes are getting old and apparently has to think. So this is not going to be the fastest system ever. And I didn't get it so it would be the fastest system ever. I don't think the calendar needs to see my location. So let's see if we go into system preferences. I, by the way, prefer the older system preferences. I don't like the newer way, but the one good thing about the newer system preferences setup is that it closely echoes a iPad or iPhone. So it's nice in the sense that you can get used to one particular setup. I do like that. So let's take a look at general. Nothing in there I want to change at the moment. I will, of course, be installing the web browsers and Libre and all the stuff that I want. Getting rid of some of these icons down here, as I usually do. If you're wondering about that, I've done it in other videos. So just look back in my Mac playlist, or I think I called it Apple. I don't know. Anyway, and I will try to put a link into the description if I can remember on another video you can watch if you want to see what I do when I install Mac OS. So anything else? Well, yeah, let's compare it. We're going to unplug it to the MacBook Air. All right, here is the M3 MacBook Air. Thought we'd do a little bit of a comparison here. And we'll brighten the screen a little bit so we can get a better idea of how it looks. Hopefully you can get an idea of what the size is like. So it's, you know, I mean, reasonably different. The MacBook Air is 13.3 inches. The MacBook is 12 inches. It has a larger bezel, which doesn't bother me. I know it really bothers some people, but this bezel size is okay. If you want to look at a larger bezel, go back to the 2012, 2011 MacBooks, MacBook Pro, and have a look at that. Sorry about all the noise. My dog's chewing on her bone over here. So, yeah, what about the screens? Well, let me go into Safari here. This screen is 60 hertz and it's a Retina display. This screen looks absolutely beautiful. It is a Retina display, but it is 30 hertz. And, you know, this was a while ago when this was created. So, in some ways, I can see that. All right, let's go to YouTube again. Definitely not as fast as other systems. I'm not sure what it's doing right now. It's acting like I'm there, but yet I'm not. All right, let's do a search. This is why I don't use this browser. I don't like it. I gotta fix the mouse, the trackpad scrolling. What I like to do is have a look because you can see the, let's go ahead and make this full screen. You can get an idea of viewable area. And again, I haven't made adjustments to that yet either. I do plan on it. Let's see, can we get, how many are we getting? 1, 2, 3, 4. So of course we can do that. We just have to minimize the screen. There we go. More accurate. Compare apples and oranges, kind of hard, but you do get an idea of how big the text is. It is smaller, not by much, compared to the MacBook Air. The funny thing is the keyboards, this one's quieter. This one's a little louder, but honestly, they feel so close to the same. This one has a more crisp click to it. This one has more of a soft click, if that makes any sense to you. While I was typing with this laptop, some of the keys are crusty. The P key was crusty, so all I did was press it multiple times and it was fine. I'm going to get some canned air and blow the keyboard out really good. The grill has dirt in it for the speaker system. Speaking of which, let's do a test on the speaker system. We'll just play a video. Why, look where we are. We'll just play these videos. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Wait for this commercial to go by. I really need to log in, don't I? And let's make the volume equivalent. Welcome back, Gadgeteers. We have another unboxing. We have a MacBook Air. This is an M3, 13.6 inch, 16 gigabyte memory. All right, let's go over here and see how this one sounds. Welcome back, Gadgeteers. We have another unboxing. We have a MacBook Air. This is an M3, 13.6 inch, 16 gigabyte memory, 512 gigabytes of storage. So it is the... Okay, so the MacBook has a little bit more distortion, if you will, when it's turned up higher. Sounds really good. The MacBook Air sounds much clearer and has a much higher range. So it stands to reason that this is going to sound better than this. But I don't know if you remember, and we're going to close this. When the MacBook came out, these systems were, what, $1,200, $1,300 for the base model? So the fact that you can buy something like this for a couple $100, and if you are concerned about getting into the Mac ecosystem and find yourself able to run a system that's still current, so Monterey is current and Ventura is current. The newest OS at the time of this video is Sonoma. Now, how long it'll be supported, that remains to be seen. I consider support meaning, can I still load current applications on this system? When it gets to the point where, browsers, Office, LibreOffice say, we no longer support that OS, then unfortunately you're stuck where you are. So the browser you have on there, the version of Office you have on there, that's what you're stuck with. What could you do with this at that point? You could put Linux on it, which I would consider strongly. If you're a Mac aficionado, you probably don't want to consider Linux. So let's look at the size. I mean, that's incredible. It's a beautiful system. It really is. It's hard not to like this system. Look how thin that is. That's incredible. I think the MacBook Air was as thin as it needs to be, but in reality, the MacBook is the MacBook Air. So the MacBook Air has 2 ports, USB-C, and I like the MagSafe, where you only get 1 USB-C port on the MacBook. And on the other side, you do get an audio jack on both systems. So that comes in handy. And can we do the one finger opening? Let me slide this over a little bit. I think we've already tested this. Up, 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 up. Yes, it will do the one finger opening. So you get a lot for very little. Now, when you buy a system that costs less, there are caveats, and the biggest one for this system is, how long will it be compatible with the operating system? There are third-party programs that can help you get the more modern operating systems working on this one. I know they do it for the MacBook Pro, so I don't want to say you can get this MacBook working with Sonoma because I haven't checked into it yet, but there is software out there that allow you to run unsupported OSs, newer OSs on a Mac, whether it's MacBook, Mac Pro, MacBook Pro, so on and so forth. So I think this still has a little bit of life left in it. The battery's good. I'm excited about that. 418 cycles is not bad. The screen looks great. I think probably what I'll do with this system when the time comes is put Fedora Linux on it and run it as long as I can. Like I say, there are some quirks you have to live with, but I'm willing to do that. I notice it's kind of like a sticky, crusty sound. Oh, no, changed its mind. Maybe if I press on it. Nope. Oh, you know what we should do? Let's put Geekbench 4 on both of these systems and see what happens. That should be fun. Hardly a fair test, but why not? Well, as you can see, the MacBook is not going to win any performance awards. The MacBook Air, on the other hand, which is a brand new one, single core 1725, it's actually as fast as the multi-core score on the MacBook. The actual multi-core score on both of them, you can see it's about 5 times faster on the MacBook Air, but you have to decide why you're buying a system. If you're buying it to be an editing system, you don't really want to buy a MacBook. If you want to buy it to go to school, to do basics, this one will be really good. It'll work out for you. This one meaning this one. On the other hand, if you feel like you need something a little bit more, you can look at the MacBook Air. This one is an 8 gigabyte, 256 gigabyte. This system, I got 16 gigabytes of memory and 512 gigabytes of storage. So you can get into these entry-level systems for much less. Additionally, for under $700, you can get the M1 MacBook Air, which is a really good deal. But, maybe you don't have $700 and you really like the idea of a super light system. As far as using it, it seemed perfectly fine to me. It wasn't too slow, wasn't as fast and prompt as the MacBook Air, which we can expect, but it's totally usable. And I'm going to install some other apps on it. If I find anything about it that seems like it does it too slow or it takes some time, I will get those results to you. This right here is a very basic test of both of these systems do not use fans, so it's hard to say what happens when they've been running for a while. They could, well, they're going to throttle down both of these. The thing of it is, I really hope, and many people do, that Apple considers coming back with the MacBook 12-inch, because it's just a cool little system. It is inexpensive. Well, of course, if it comes back, it won't be. It's something that many people seem to like. I like it just for its size and just for doing things with it. Very, very nice little system. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe. And I will see you on the next Fast Gadgets. Oh, you're still here. Well, I decided to go ahead and use the MacBook 12-inch to edit my video. It wasn't really that bad, except for the fact that I used 4K footage from my camera in the office. And even that wasn't such a big deal, but it had enough skipping and popping that I needed to go ahead and make proxy videos for all the videos that are 4K. The problem is, even if I made proxy videos and I used various effects, let's see if I can show you an example, such as the one I'm using here on video 267. It's a noise suppressor for voice, so it makes it sound much better. And that one, of course, makes it hop and skip and pop, even if I have a proxied video. So what I'm gonna have to do is add in those filters after the fact. Once I'm convinced that all the editing is completed, probably gonna have to do a second round. Then I will go ahead and put in the noise suppressor for voice to all the clips. And seems like there was one other one I was going to add. I can't remember what. But the filters, rather effects, definitely do slow things down, not only in rendering, but in using the MacBook to do the editing. But I did get all the way done except for this video that I'm shooting now, and I wanted to show you it is currently rendering about how long it says it's going to take. Let's see if I can pull that up. Show all windows. So it's telling me it's going to take 4 hours, 28 minutes to render this video, which is 32 minutes, I believe. Kdenlive is very accurate when determining how long it's going to take to render a video. It's usually not off by more than 5 minutes. So I'm sure, as you can imagine, I'm not going to go through and render this entire video. I'm going to transfer the video files and the file I generated from doing the edit here over to my MacBook Pro and do the edit completion on that particular system because it'll just be easier. But I really wanted to find out how long it would take. However, there was some awkwardness. You know, the mouse pad is smaller, trackpad, if you will. It does make quite a difference. Keyboard I got used to. You may notice, by the way, that some of these keys, like the S key here, is worn down, and the E and the P is actually not worn down, but it was stuck when I got the computer. S and E were definitely sticky. And I think what the previous owner did was basically go ahead and use the computer with sticky keys. What I did was look up a video on carefully taking these keys out, and I took the sticky keys out, and there was indeed crumbs and all kinds of things underneath the keys, some crusty mess, if you will. So I went ahead and cleaned those out really good, and I did a canned air over all the other keys to keep them nice and happy and clean, and the keyboard works great. There's really no problem with it. So this did not need to happen. Whoever had it before, I don't know, could they have not have asked somebody maybe? That's the problem with the Butterfly keyboard, by the way. It tends to get crumbs underneath it and get sticky. Even though this is the 2017 model, it's still a problem. But it's really not that difficult to clean. You just have to be very gentle and very careful when you're taking these keys off. And if you do that, not too bad. This isn't what I wanted this computer for anyway. I don't want to edit on it. Just seems silly. But what I do like is I can throw this in my bag, and it's so light. It's a complete computer. I can do anything basic that I want to do, like surf the web. It watches 4K videos and YouTube just great. Yeah, it watches the videos, plays the videos just great. And, you know, all the apps that I have that I think that I need. Let's see if I can pull up what I've put on here so far. Yeah, we don't need that, do we? I'd like to point out, I have not cleaned this out yet. So there's quite a few applications that I don't need and won't use, but I put the majority of the things that I will use: LibreOffice, GIMP, VLC, and Firefox. So all the rest of the stuff in here, you know, I'll use very rarely. I do like the notes a lot. I have quite a few notes that I am able to share between all of my Mac systems. That's really helpful. The calendar, of course, I do like. And the App Store to download apps. Music, I do have music, at least for now anyway, until I discontinue it, because I have a 6-month free trial, and after that I'll probably just get rid of it, because I have MP3s of everything. I really don't feel like I need to pay a monthly fee for music. So there it is. I hope you enjoyed the video. It really was interesting and fun to do. You know, you may say I'm being a cop-out because I'm moving over to the MacBook M3, MacBook Pro M3, but here's the thing, you know, I've got to go through and check the edit, and this screen is really small, which isn't the end of the world, but it does make editing a little bit harder. I've got to add in the filters, and when I do that, the effects, and when I add in the effects, it's definitely going to slow things down and get more sluggish. I'm not going to do any color grading on a video like this, so you know, that's not yet another effect that I have to add to work with. I do have other effects in there on certain videos. So some of the videos were kind of kinked like this, off center, and I fixed them. Some had some stuff in the screen that I didn't want to show up, so I went ahead and zoomed it in a little bit. Oddly, those transform effects, which usually takes a tremendous amount of processing, are not an issue. It still plays just fine with the proxied videos. So I'm really happy with that. The proxies took a long time to create. So if I had a 5-minute video I had to proxy, I would say it'd be 10 to 15 minutes per video. So I just kind of sat here and watched TV and did other things and proxied them. I did one after the other. You can select one video at a time, right click it. I might as well just show you. Here's one video. We're gonna do a right click and proxy clip there is checked, meaning the video is already proxied. Or you can select many videos and have it proxy, but I don't have the cores for that. And what I would do is get one video done and do some more editing, and then when I got to the next one, I would do the next one, and then I would take a break and put like 3 or 4 of them in proxy so that the proxies would be created and done. And hopefully you can see up here, even though I've got 4K footage, I went ahead and did HD 1080p, 30 frames a second, so I'm not really pushing too hard on the processor. I probably could have went ahead and done 720p for this video, honestly, but I like it. Let's do something else. Let's have a look at our activity right now. So CPU looks like 80 to 90%, about 90% most of the time. So this little dual core CPU it's definitely topped out. Memory though, let's look at memory. Memory, not too bad. If it goes up any higher, it's going to be issues that I'm going to cut into that swap file. It says I'm using 2.5 gigabytes. It's entirely possible. That's the one thing about my MacBook Pro M3. It has 18 gigabytes, and it really does help. So that's it in a nutshell. Yes, you can still use one of these for daily operations as long as it's, you know, internet-based document creation. If you really, really want to edit in it, yeah, you could. I think that's probably a bit much. I'd like to point out that, you know, there's other things you can do that are similar to editing as far as processing time goes, compiling script, if you're into doing something like that. This right here, I mean, if I didn't care, I would just go set this in my office. Ooh. Anyway, if it actually had completed, I would have went ahead and set it in my office and saw this message when I got up the next morning. Just kidding. Melt quit. It's usually not an issue. This is the most current version of Kdenlive, so usually I can take care of that. It might be a filter or the video itself or the proxy. There's all kinds of things I can do, but I'm not going to go through and try to fix it right here. It's definitely going to be a lot easier if it continues to be an issue on my newer MacBook Pro to fix it there. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time on Fast Gadgets.